What's up guys, welcome back to PRP. Today I'm going to show you the difference between Amazon's Echo, Apple's HomePod, and Google Home. I wanted to show you a little bit of the differences and kind of give you guys my personal opinion on it. Nobody pays me for these, I'm not sponsored by anybody, so this is a honest truth opinion that I have of these different devices. First off, I want to talk about quality. It's very evident to me that the assistant that has the most quality is by far Apple's HomePod. It feels heavy, it feels sturdy, and I really like the build. I like the design, I think the design's very nice, but it just feels better. Amazon's Echo kind of feels a little cheap and light, and Google's feels even worse. It is what it is. Now I'm going to show you a little bit of which one can perform certain tasks, and this might surprise you. So we'll start with Amazon's Echo. Alexa, what's the weather in Salt Lake City?
Right now in Salt Lake City, Utah, it's 38 degrees with partly cloudy skies. Tonight's forecast has clouds with a low of 27 degrees.
Okay, so a lot of information there. Hey Siri, what's the weather in Salt Lake City?
It's currently cloudy and 30 degrees in Salt Lake City, Utah. Expect mostly cloudy skies starting tonight. Temperatures will be fairly consistent, averaging about 29 degrees.
Same thing, a lot of information. Okay Google, what's the weather in Salt Lake City?
Right now in Salt Lake City it's 32 and mostly cloudy. The forecast tonight is 31 and clear with periodic clouds.
Okay, so they outperformed that task, pretty easy one. We'll move on to something a little bit harder. What does a whale sound like? So Alexa's able to make a very realistic whale sound. It gives it back to me with no sarcasm, just answers the question. What does a whale sound like?
I can't get the answer to that on HomePod.
Okay, what does a whale sound like?
Here's a whale sound.
I don't know if that's a whale sound. Okay, Google can do it too. A little weird that the HomePod can't answer something simple like that. Give me a recipe for apple pie.
Okay, for apple pie, I recommend the top recipe called Grandma Opal's apple pie, which takes 1 hour and 30 minutes to make. You can ask for more information, or for more recipes, say next.
More information.
It has 4.8 stars with over 2,100 reviews, and uses ingredients like 1 recipe pastry for a 9-inch double crust pie, 3 tablespoons all-purpose flour, 8 Granny Smith apples, peeled, cored and sliced. Do you want me to tell you the ingredients, send this to your phone, or hear the next?
Send to my phone.
Okay, I have sent this recipe to your Alexa app.
So very cool. She answers the question, finds you a very top-rated recipe, then she can either give you the recipe or she can send it to your phone. Give me a recipe for apple pie.
I can't get the answer to that on HomePod.
Okay, 2 in a row. Give me a recipe for apple pie.
Okay, I've got a recipe called Perfect Apple Pie from Pillsbury. This recipe serves 8 and takes about 3 hours to make. Does that sound good?
Yes.
Great, let's get started. Before we start, heat oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. Let me know when you're done.
She will literally walk you through step by step of how to make an apple pie. Something as simple as a recipe, and Apple's HomePod can't give that to you. So I'll do it again. Hey Siri, give me a recipe for apple pie.
I can't get the answer to that on HomePod.
I don't want this to turn into kind of a HomePod bashing video, but I feel that's the way it's going to go. So I might as well get the other thing that I think is fantastic about this HomePod out of the way. Play Feel No Ways by Drake.
Here's a sample of Feel No Ways, Explicit, by Drake.
It's not glass to the ears or anything, but Alexa doesn't sound super premium. I don't know what else to say about it. It doesn't sound very good. So let's move on to the HomePod. Play Feel No Ways by Drake.
Here's Feel No Ways by Drake.
It's hard for you guys to hear over the mics on your phone or your TV or computer or whatever, but trust me, the HomePod sounds so much better. In fact, it's one of the best speakers I've heard in a long time. That's what Apple said this was going to be. They said it was going to be a really good speaker with an assistant on the side, and that's kind of what I found. The speaker and the build quality, fantastic. I can't say anything bad about it. Play Feel No Ways by Drake.
That song's only available for Google Play Music subscribers. But try this Google Play Music Feel No Ways station.
Hey. Everybody switching up, I guess. DJ It's just the way it is. Oh.
Okay, so Google Home doesn't sound bad, doesn't sound as good as the HomePod, not even close, but sounds, in my opinion, a lot better than Amazon Alexa. One thing I want to say about this though is the HomePod knows that I have Feel No Ways in my library. I own that song. And it just pulls it from that song. Were I to ask her to play a different song, I would have to have an Apple Music account. I can't have any other account. She won't let me do it. But I own that song on the Play Store. And this Google Home is set up and synced to my phone right now, and it's connected via Bluetooth. And it still doesn't know that I own that song. So unless I own a subscription, it still won't play it. It'll only give me a playlist similar to that song, which is a little frustrating. Now, I'm going to get into kind of the pros and the cons and talk a little bit about it for a second. The Amazon Alexa and the Google Home can both connect to your phone or whatever via Bluetooth, and you can stream music through them. The HomePod can't. Like, what was Apple thinking? They can't even stream music via Bluetooth, not even if you own an iPhone. You can send music to it, and that's the only other way that you can listen to music through this without having an Apple Music account. It's crazy. It's crazy. Amazon and Google, they're very, very close. Google hosts a few more, but you can listen to Spotify, Pandora, TuneIn, the Google Play app, Amazon's Prime Music, but for heaven's sakes, you can't even listen to your own phone Bluetooth to this. And on top of that, you can only sync an iPhone. The AirPods that came out, one of the best products that Apple's released in the past 3 years, they can sync to Androids. They can sync to any phone that you want. They are a Bluetooth device and can stream music through them. The HomePod can't. So far, I've kind of just found that the HomePod is a half-baked product. And it's really frustrating because Apple shouldn't be able to get away with releasing half-baked products. The box was pretty, the packaging's pretty, the aesthetics are pretty, but it doesn't deliver. You can make phone calls on these. You can do so many other things, but you can't do them on this. Now, a lot of you are going to say, well, you know, the updates are coming, and the AirPlay 2 will allow all these things. But I shouldn't have to wait for an update, you guys. Amazon's Echo came out in 2014. Apple has had 4 years. It's 2018 now, people, and they just came out with this product. Now, both of these can connect to a whole array, especially Alexa, can connect to a whole bunch of smart home products. But the HomePod can't. It can only connect to Apple's HomeKit. Now, with that said, it connects to it and it does it very well. It does it very fast. But if you have a Nest, a Ratio box, Philip light bulbs that you want to turn up and down, any third party, these two are the only ones that can do it. And Alexa is getting farther and farther into the game. Their open sourcing lets you connect to just about any third party thing that's out there, and it works. And it works well and fast and the first time. The HomePod, you can't. Unless you are extremely deep into the Apple ecosystem and you want to buy nothing else but Apple products, this is not your thing. You may want to wait for a while, wait for a few more updates or the second generation, because right now this just doesn't seem to have what you need it to have. Another frustrating thing is that you can set both of these, Google Home and Alexa, to recognize your voice. So if I'm at home and I talk to Alexa, she will recognize me and do what I say according to my calendars, my events, make phone calls out of my contact book, and if my wife does it, it'll do it out of hers, which is nice. Same thing with Google. Can't do that here. It has no voice recognition to differentiate who is talking. While I'm throwing the HomePod in the fire, you can't daisy chain these either. The other thing that's killing me is the price of the HomePod. It's $350. Now, it's a very good quality build, and yes, it sounds very good. But $350, you can buy either one of these for less than $100. While I was scrolling through my Twitter feed the other day, Right Chris put a post and he said you could buy a 64 gig Google Pixel 2, a Google Daydream VR headset, Amazon Echo 2nd generation, a 55-inch 4K TCL Roku TV, and 4-bulb Philips Hue white lights for the same price that you could buy an iPhone X and an Apple HomePod. So everyone knows that Apple's products are really expensive, but you should be getting what you're paying for. And with this, I don't feel like you are. At the end of the day, I don't feel like you can go wrong with either of these two. The downside is they do not sound as good as the HomePod. If I was gonna pick one, I would go with the Echo. I really appreciate you guys being here on PRP. Please subscribe down below and we'll see you next time.